Now, you want to know something, chat? Every time I talk about my mother, do you think my mom is sane or not? I'm gonna ask you a question, right? Because some people have told me it's like...
I keep trying to send a lovely positive message saying how much I genuinely love you and would take you on a date because you deserve something nice. But Twitch literally won't let me. Even Twitch is insistent on bullying you at this point.
Have you ever tried clicking send? Yeah, that's not true, guys. That's not true. 50-50. You want to know something that my mom told me? So yesterday, my mom called me, right? And she was like, we should watch a movie. Because it's been a while since we watched movies together. And did you know that the new Captain America movie got released? Well, at least for me, it did. So my mom's like, by the way, Captain America is like releasing. You want to go watch it when you're free? And I was like, yeah, of course. Why not? Now, this psychopath of a woman, okay, let me tell you the situation we are in. So in my beautiful country, we have a choice. When you go to a cinema, you can either watch a movie with the common folk, or you can get like a VIP lounge to watch the movie. Now, the VIP lounge is nothing too extreme or anything, but it's like, you basically get like chairs that can retract, and like, there's not a lot of chairs in the room. It's like for like bougie people. And I was like, oh, mom, it's been a while since we watched a movie. Maybe we should treat ourselves and watch it in like the nicer theater, you know, like in the VIP theater, right? And this psychopath, she was like, oh my god, that'd be so nice. We can go watch in like the fancy theater. Now, let me explain to you how it looks like. Actually, let me open my MS Paint as my neighbors are still doing something that I don't know what they're doing because I can still hear the thumping. Hold on. Let me open MS Paint. Okay. So let's say that here is the screen, right? So this is what like the premiere, like the VIP room looks like. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2. And then it's the same thing, like 1, 2, there's like rows, right? So these are the seats, right? And when you can book it online. Let me tell you. Don't tell me she wanted front row. No, you're not gonna expect this you're not gonna expect this story. So my mom decided to go on their website and check if she can book any rooms or if she can like get a seat or anything like that, right? And here's the thing. Let's say that usually people want to sit over here. I like to preferably sit over here because I have bad eyesight. Sorry, my brain is a bit mushy because I can hear my neighbors doing something. What is... Okay, you know what? No. They're getting so annoying. What is that? Hold on. Let me just get a stick and I'll just poke it. Hey! That's so loud! What are you doing up there? Oh my god. Ow. I poked the ceiling. Is that a hole in my ceiling? Oh, Jesus. I'm like that neighbor. I'm like, hey! Cut it! It's 12 in the morning, god damn it! Please! Stop having sex! I'm begging you! It's midday!
It is Valentine's Day and you are adding to their excitement.
Please do it at night! It's midday on a Friday, you freak! Oh. Whatever, I'm just gonna drill up there and watch them f*** it. Also,
thanks Samko for the sub.
I poked my ceiling and then I think some of the dust fell onto my eyes. Oh. Yeah, neighbor having smegs and I'm just staring. God. What a horrible day to live. Anyways, noise cancellation mode activated, am I right? Back to the story of my mother. So my mom decided to go online to check the availability for the seats. And obviously, because it's a Marvel movie, a lot of the seats were taken. Let me draw you the seats that are taken, okay? I'll color it in this bluish color. So these were the seats that were taken. Now, we have a choice, right? We can sit in like one of these or one of these, but you can't really sit next to each other unless you kind of have like an aisle separating you, you know what I mean? So I was like, I guess we can't watch it anytime too soon, right? Like we gotta sit in like separate seats and stuff like that. But all this like paired seats are kind of taken unless you want to sit in the very front, which is kind of psycho. Now, you know what this woman told me? She was like, Michi, you see those people taking the middle seats? These? And let me find a better green. These, because like these middle seats are all taken, right? Mom's like, you see those people? I'm like, yeah. It's like, those are so selfish. They're one of those selfish peoples. These are like a 4-seater, but instead of going like this, they decided to take the middle because they just wanted to be extra private. You know what we should do, Michi? Let's sit like that, colored in green. So her plan is I'm gonna sit over here. My mom is gonna sit over here. And then as the movie is going on, we are going to look at each other and talk to each other really loudly. So I will have to like lean forward, right? And I go, hey mom, what do you think about the movie? And then she's gonna lean forward too, and she's gonna be like, oh my god, that scene where they do this, like that. And then I was like, why would you ever do that? And she's like, no, you don't get it. These people, they just like, they want to have an extra private room, right? If we occupied these seats, one of them is gonna cave in and be like, hey, do you want to trade? So then they are gonna move here and I get to move here, and then we get to sit together and they get to sit together anyway, basically giving up their seats. And I was like, but what if they don't do that? She's like, then we can just troll the shit out of them and ruin their day. Either way, we're gonna teach them a lesson.
You sure your mom isn't American?
She's like, that way we can teach them a lesson not to be selfish and book middle seats like this. And I was like, but technically you can. She's like, yeah, but that's so inconsiderate, Michi. We should teach them a lesson by sitting right here. And I thought she was joking. She wasn't. Okay, she was so close on booking it. Yesterday night, that was how I was supposed to spend my night. She was like, yeah, let's watch it like literally dead at night, like that. And I was like, no, I can't. Like, I'm too tired. So she's like, okay, next time. So I want you guys to know, next time I'm watching a movie with my mom and something like this happens, my mom is 100% going to take these seats
Prime Radiancy
right
scammed
off
for $3. Jesus Christ, you weren't joking when you said your mom likes conflict.
I'm not, like, my mom is so psychopathic, right? So I was like laughing at that. I was like, you're joking. She's like, no, we're gonna teach them a lesson, Michi, because they need to know not to be selfish. I was like, yeah, but so many other people do it though. And she's like, yeah, well, one at a
That's
time.
incredible. Are you sure she's not single?
She's like, we need to teach them one at a time, Michi. You gotta understand. And I was like,
Jesus,
what?
Your mom is a menace.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Okay, so if Michi mom needs someone to go to the movies with tomorrow, based mentality.
I ended up like yesterday, because I was waiting. I talked to my dad as well. And I told my dad, I was like, by the way, you know what mom told me? Like, mom invited me to watch this Marvel thing, blah, blah, blah. And this is what she said. Like, she is so psycho, right? Let me tell you a story my dad told me. So this was back in the day, right? Way back in the day, when they were still a newlywed. Imagine this is a table. They went to a restaurant, right? A long time ago, it's very normal. Like, these circles are seats, by the way. Usually a table for 6.
That's so
you can
petty.
like
That's
sit
amazing.
anywhere.
It would be
You
funnier
don't get
if
it.
one of you sit diagonally from each other.
That's even worse. So basically back then, let's say a stranger sits here. You can actually sit next to a stranger, or like, let's say you can sit like here or anywhere. Like, you can share a table with strangers and it's kind of normal. You don't have to be like one table for one person. You know, it's like, oh, if there's 6 seats, it can be for 6 people. It doesn't matter who.
Your dad has
right?
known her longer, to be fair. I'm sure he had this same conversation.
Oh.
Side note, talking in movies is so freaking rude. Ever since COVID, people have forgotten they need to shut up in a movie theater.
Right? I don't talk in the movie theater, but my mom she doesn't either. She just goes out of her way to do it to troll people. So yeah, it's still pretty much normal in Indo, but not as normal anymore. But back then it was still as common. So a table can be like for 2 groups, totaling up to 6 people. One time, my mom and my dad went on a little date, right? And then on a table, there was a guy sitting here, and then their friends were sitting over here, right? So they were all talking like to each other. And my parents, like, this restaurant was full, and they were like, God, I don't know where to sit, blah, blah, blah. And my mom, no questions asked, sat down right here. Now my dad, being the Giga Chad man he is befuddled, right? He's like, what is she doing? And my mom, like, my dad was standing right here. My mom was already sitting down on this chair, and my dad was like, what are you doing? And she was like, really loudly, she's like, go sit over here, sit over there. And then she just starts like leaning forward, looking at this empty seat and just having a make-believe conversation while my dad is confused, like right here, just to like kind of cut into the conversation, because they're like, this guy could sit over here, that way my mom and my dad could be here like a normal person, but they decided to sit like this, aka it's their fault, aka she can just troll them. My dad's like, you don't get it, your mom's been like this for a very long time. And I was like, what? Why? And that's like, honestly, I think she likes the thrill of trolling people. Like, she just likes the idea that it's like, oh, it's your fault, right? Like, you made this decision and I'm gonna show you why this is a bad decision. So then she just takes it as like I can troll you however much I want, free pass. And she wanted to do that in the theater. She's like, yeah, let's just sandwich this poor couple, right? And then purposely talk over them the whole time. So then they will realize that their choices are very selfish and inconsiderate. And I was like, but why would you do that? We can just wait until the next day. And she's like, yeah, we can. But it could also be pretty funny. Like, she's not mad. Like, you might think of it, she's like, oh my God, she's a Karen. No. When I say this, she has the biggest grin on her face, chat. She's not like, oh my God, that's so rude. Give me your manager. She's not like that at all. She's just like, oh, you're gonna make this decision nicely. What if I decided to do this instead? And I'm like, but why would you do that? And she's like, it's kind of funny though. And I literally told her, like, I wasn't laughing. I was like, Mom, you are so psychopathic. And she just started laughing. Like, she's just like laughing and she's like, but it'd be so funny, Michi. That's so, but come on, please hear me out. It's so funny. And I'm like, Mother, you fucking sociopath. She's not mad. Like, she's fine waiting the next day. Like, she's okay with it. It's just there's a chance. Like, the way she sees it, it's such a glowing prime chance to troll somebody. Why won't you take it? Just fucking take it. I'm not. My mom is
to 11.
She's me if I was supposed to be confrontational, because my mom enjoys confrontation. If someone like looks at her and they're like, excuse me, you're being loud, she's like,
didn't fall
what?
Far from the tree I see.
Oh my God, I remember this. One time we were in like a waiting room, right? And listen, there's really not much rules, but there's like common decency. We were in this waiting room and one person entered the waiting room watching a video on their like old ass, I think it was a BlackBerry, but it was like an old phone on speaker. And you know how that sounds like. It dead ass sounds like this. So then you have to listen to a video
Your
like this the whole time.
Chat for real.
Like that, right? So someone enters the room and this is a quiet, calm space watching a video on their phone on speaker. Now everyone hates those people, but like no one really wants to confront them. Not my mother. Nuh-uh. You know what my mom did? And she looks at them, right? And I know, like, the moment I look at my mom, it's like when something bad happens, I'm not scared that my mom's gonna go Karen. I'm scared that she's gonna start having that shit-ass grin on her face because she's an XDD cat, like, bam, just like that, right? And then she looks at me, dead in my eyes, so everyone knows that we're acquainted. And then she goes, hey, Michi! Hey, tao nga sa, you know Michi, you know that thing, you know Michi, you know. And then the video, like, this guy pauses the video, right? And then she's quiet. It's like there's like videos on. She's like, hey, you know Michi, you know, like this, like the guy, the blah 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 blah. And then pause video, and they're like, So then they they play the video again. She goes, oh, you know the thing. Wow, come on, like, you know, I miss talking to you. Let's talk more, like that. And then I remembered one time this person lowered down their volume. It's kind of hard to tell, but I could hear it because I was so embarrassed. But this person was lowering down their volume on their video, and my mom went like this. Hey, you know, sometimes when she lowered down her voice along with the video volume, which is like, at first, it's like, oh, maybe you just want to have a conversation, right? It's like passive aggressive. But because they're lowering it down their video and she's lowering down her voice, now everyone, and it's not just me, her, and this guy. There were like 10 people in that room. Everyone knows that my mom is doing this to spite that guy. And then I'm like, I would like, what are you doing? And she's like laughing. She would just laugh like a psychopath. She'd be like, see it? I told you it would work. She says in front of them, by the way, in the same room, in that volume. I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? And she's like, I told you it worked. Told you, Michi, it works all the time. And then she's back, like sitting down in silence, playing her phone. She's literally one of the most confrontational people I've ever met.
That's understandable. You bring a megaphone into a quiet room like that, you're just asking for trouble. She 300.
She does it not because she like. I think she thinks it's
I
funny.
think I finally understand how you became you after growing up with Mama MOCHIEVEE XDD. She's amazing. Legendary Michi
Bro,
Mochi.
she is such a psychopath. But the crazier thing is if someone has the balls to approach my mother and goes like, "Excuse me, ma'am, are you trying to make fun of me?" She's gonna be like, not really, but I'm just doing what you're doing. So if you think it's insulting, then it's probably insulting. But I'm not. And then this is the worst part. Like it does look Karen-y, but this has happened so often. If someone decides to walk up to her and confront her, her grin gets wider. And then she just goes like, I mean, you know, something about the shoe and something about it fitting, am I right? I mean, you're fine. Like, you know, I just wanted to have a conversation. It's just because I can't hear them, so I have to speak louder. That's just what it is. And she's like, I mean, if you want to lower the volume, I'll lower the volume, right? But it's okay. And then this, like, I remember one time someone was being so passive aggressive to my mother. And let me tell you, sometimes this is so funny, right? If you think about it, it's like, oh my God, you're such a troll, Michi, haha. One time, she did this to one of the nurses that was attending me. I was sick, right? And I was like in the hospital, like opnam. I was like staying at the hospital, and basically I was about to get injected. Now at this time, if you are staying at the hospital, I usually get IV fluids on me. They basically inject like your medicine inside a small tube that is like connected to your IV fluid, so they don't have to keep poking holes at you, right? So there's this nurse that was about to inject me. Like they're gonna inject me later on the day for like one of my vitamins or like one of my medicine. I think it was like medicine for something. This was ages ago. And my mom was asking this nurse a question. And I get it. Healthcare workers, y'all are over like worked, right? You're tired, you're exhausted. But this one nurse made the big mistake of being too snappy with my mom. Now she is like, I would say the nurse is rude, but listen, I'm not gonna start a fight with someone that is gonna shove a needle in my body. You know what I mean? So I usually just let it be. They're like, you roll over. I roll over. I'm like, yes, ma'am. But I'm not gonna start a fight with them. But my mom is a bit different. She decides it's such a great idea to troll this exhausted nurse because this nurse was like rude to her. She's not rude back. She just trolls them. You know how she trolls them? She would ask them little things over and over and over again. She's like, what's that? It's an IV bag. Oh, what is the IV bag for? Oh, it's to give her like saline. Oh, okay, but what is it connected to? A tube. What is the tube connected to? A needle. No, the other one. The IV bag? Oh, what's the IV bag for? She just over and over. And then they're like, I just told you. And she's like, oh, sorry, I didn't get it. And she is like smiling. And I'm sitting there like I'm laying on the bed, right? And you could see my heart monitor go like beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. Like, I'm getting a heart attack because I'm like, oh my God, you're not the one that's gonna get injected. Okay, I am. They are gonna inject me with air bubbles. I'm gonna blow up. Like, they're gonna be like, okay, here's your daily dose of cyanide and I'm gonna die. Like, don't do that. So I was like, Mom, don't do that. And she's like, I just want to know what's going on inside the body of my poor baby girl, because I want to know what my poor baby girl has in her body. I'm just a concerned mother. I'm like, no, you're not. I've been here in the hospital for 2 weeks. Not once did you ask what's in my body. And now you're asking them like 12 times. You're not gonna know. What are you gonna do? Put something better? No, you're not. Just let it be. I had to be like, I'm so sorry. Please just walk away. I'm so sorry. And then my mom's like, I'm joking with you. I'm joking. I'm just joking. And she sits down and I'm like, Mom, don't do that. She's gonna inject me. And she's like, come on. Why can't you laugh a little? Relax a little. She is so controversial. Okay, this woman, she's not like that now because I am way too scared, but she pulls the XDD. I'm just joking, bruh. She does that so often, so much, and she is so psychopathic. Like, I bet 100,000%, right? If you give her the opportunity to be the sociopath, she will be the sociopath. If you're sitting in the theater in the middle, she will sit beside you in like the smelliest, dirtiest clothes. She's gonna go out of her way to look homeless and speak really loud. She will do that just because she's like, how dare you be selfish and take the middle spot even though we could have shared. So I'm gonna make sure you have a day. But then she's just trolling. Like, she's not mad and she's not angry. That's her version of funny. Like, I'm not crazy, chat. She's
Is such a sociopath and a menace to society. I'd stay the away from her.
No, that's just rude.
And you by extension.
No, bro. Like, the thing is, it is true. There's like common sense, you know? Like, if there's 4 seats in the middle, you want to just take like the 2 seats in the sides and the 2 seats in the sides. You don't want to like hoard the middle seats. Because hoarding the middle seats is kind of like, that's kind of a move, you know? Like, you're just being selfish at that point, right? Because if there's 4 seats and that's like, you can share it from like 2 couples and you just hoard the middle so the other couple can't sit anywhere, that's just rude. But like, it's fine, but it's just like inconsiderate. It's not like super rude, it's just slightly inconsiderate. So my mom decides to be rude. She's like, oh yeah, it's not considered as rude, it's just like, okay, you're just being slightly inconsiderate, but it's fine. And my mom's like, you're gonna be inconsiderate, I'm gonna be a dick. And then she amps it up to 3,000, and she does this so often. And I keep telling people, like, chat, I'm not crazy. Okay, my mom is genuinely a sociopath. Like, she is insane. Like, when people are like, Michi, how are you the way that you are? My parents, like, I'm not kidding. It's built in the genes. I am pretty insane. Like, she is one of the most pettiest person ever. If she's driving and you're like, oh my god, slow down, she is going to go 1 kilometer per hour. Like, if she is not breaking speed limit and you're like, oh my god, slow down driving, she is purposely going to like stop, brake, stop like that.